If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way. If I had the nerve to speak, you wouldn't hear what I say. Time has come and gone so fast, we're not who we used to be.
Welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with the Three of Us band, and I just wanted to acknowledge how we met.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it wasn't for you and you introducing me to your son, I would not have done Pride in the Park that day, and I would not have done Pride in Silverton. So I just wanted to acknowledge, because like I hear so many stories of parents of gay people that aren't supportive and affirming of their own children. Right. I just wanted to say how happy it is for me to see that relationship with you and your son, because it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's one of those things that more people should be aware of and embrace.
Absolutely. He is a joy to be around. His energy is infectious, and he is a truly wonderful human being. And I cannot imagine a parent ever turning their back on their child. I know it happens, but I was very involved in our church on the worship team. That's how I started singing and music and things like that. And then when he came out in the ninth grade, things shifted a little bit. I did cry, for a couple of days, but I'm not going to be a grandma. Now I'm wonderful. I have grandpups. They're awesome. Right. Right. And, he said to me several times, Mom, if you and Dad would not have been as accepting as you were to me, I may not be here alive right now. So, in that vein, we took in a lot of other kids that were maybe, didn't get along with their parents for this or that reason. I was always kind of like the Kool-Aid mom. Kids would come to my house because I was the safe place, and I continue to be a safe place. So anyway, I'm just so glad that we could get you together with him, Sean and Sean.
Right. It's a little too common where parents aren't supportive, and sometimes it doesn't end well.
Correct.
And with the way it is today too, like, it's just so many people should have the ability just to be who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's true with the Three of Us band. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know who we are. We know who we are.
Yeah.
And
it works.
I really appreciate that, though, because like one of the things that I like about your performances, because I've seen a couple of the ones you have online, is that you are all about the music. Like, there are some bands where you can tell they're just kind of phoning it in while on stage. No, you all are feeling it. You're vibing it. You're like rocking it out. Like, it doesn't matter if you're acoustic or if you've got more with you. It's always going to be a good show. And I really appreciate that about you all.
Hey.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yes, thank
you.
you.
How did y'all get started doing music? I guess we'll start with Susan.
Well,
since we sort of
there we go. So I actually honestly didn't know I could sing until I was in probably I was a sophomore in high school. No, I was a freshman. So middle school, Whitaker Middle School went 7th, 8th, and 9th. So I was in 9th grade at a junior high at the time. And I tried out for a play because I thought, this is going to be fun. Well, it was a musical, and I didn't even think about it. Or there was a musical part in it, and I didn't quite think about, I was cast as Sadie Mae, the barmaid, And then all of a sudden the director's like, well, you get to sing a song. I'm like, I can't sing. He goes, you can sing. And so he kind of helped me, and I did my little song. And then I thought, well, I'm going to try out for the next play. And it was Sleeping Beauty and the Rose Taboo, and I was typecast as the bad fairy. Imagine that. I had jet black hair down to my waist, so that made sense at the time. But again, I came upon, I'm like, I don't know if I can sing. And he goes, you can sing, you can sing. And I had one high part in this song, and I had to work with the choir director. And I'm like, I can't do that high note. He goes, you can do it. And he got so frustrated with me, and I was almost in tears. And my drummer director came and said, just let her speak the part. She can speak it. And now I go back and think, yeah, I probably could have hit that note, but I wasn't so confident. So that kind of led me to other things in the high school. I kind of continued with drama, but we went to a high school that didn't do musicals. McNary out here at the time didn't have a big theater. We had a small theater. So we did a lot of little plays and things. And then I got the bug to do community theater, started doing some musicals, that kind of thing. But I sang mostly at church on the worship team.
Cool.
So,
Now I'm taking notes. So
oh, well,
there could be questions coming up in front of gigs, you know.
How about yourself?
I've been immersed in music since I was born. My dad was musical. I grew up around music. My dad would just come home from work, and he always had a guitar laying around somewhere, and so he'd pick up a guitar and start playing. And finally, I said, "Dad, why don't you teach me some?" You know, he thought, you'll never learn. So he taught me one chord. He says, "If you can play, or two chords, you can play these two chords, and you can switch, then I'll teach you more." And a few days later, I go, "Look, Dad." Like really slowly, you know, between the chords. And so that's how it all started. I had a big 4-string ukulele, you know, and then I just played all my life in school and growing up and everything.
Do you remember do you remember the first guitar you picked up?
I had this used guitar and it said Airline on the headstock. It was like, I don't even know where I got it, some used place or something. So yeah, Airline guitar was the first one. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Humor is always welcome. How about yourself?
I started on the accordion when I was 6.
Nice.
And that kind of brought my right and left hands and I guess left, right brain, you know, and I just went from there. Just self-taught.
How hard was it to transition from that into a stringed instrument?
It's really a good question. I don't think it was really that hard. It just took me a while, a long while, you know.
Mhm.
In fact, if I still had the first guitar I bought, it'd be great having it now as a Strat, 69 Strat. So,
Ooh, nice.
but I couldn't play it, so I got rid of it, you know. So that's all right.
Oh, that's such
Sorry.
a bummer.
No, it's, you know,
No, the bummer is that you got rid of it.
well,
It's probably worth a lot of money.
You got to see what he
yeah,
has
it
now.
could be. It could be. Well, I can always borrow Jerry's.
There you go.
And then, so when you transitioned into playing the stringed instruments, did you start with bass and always been bass, or has it been
No,
a combination bass and guitar?
actually, when I really got serious, a friend of mine he says, "I'd like to play banjo." And I said, "Well, I want to play guitar." And I went down in this music store and I just plucked the bottom string on all the guitars, and the one that sounded the best won. Happened to be a 12 string.
Oh my goodness.
So I bought it, you know.
How hard is a 12 string to play compared to your like standard fret?
Actually, it's the same. It's just like playing a 6-string.
Just
It's
tougher on the fingers.
tougher on the
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go light.
Yeah,
Go light strings, you know. But they sound pretty.
yeah.
They really do. And for what I was doing, it worked for me.
See, I transitioned the other way around. You know,
Did you?
I learned enough guitar and learned enough, and then I'm like, well, there's so many other instruments and stuff. And then I had this little cheapo Casio keyboard, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like doing some 1 notes and some 2 notes, and I'm like, okay, well, that kind of relates to this string on this guitar.
Yes.
And then you realize, you know, a keyboard only has one sequence of notes from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar has 6 sequences, and they're all in different, you know, tunes. So
Sure.
so it was fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about it from that angle before.
Yeah. So if you were equivalent on keyboard, you'd have 6 keyboards, and obviously you couldn't hit 6 notes at once or whatever.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And then of course electronics is where you really get into it. So you got a keyboard with a great piano sound. Everybody wants to hear the real piano. Oh, I'm a real piano player. I'm like, yeah, but I can do these string sounds, and I can do all this other
Horns.
stuff too. Horns.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can do a lot if you know, as you just experiment.
And how did you all get together?
What started this all up? We were at a
You were
jam
chasing me
session.
around. You were chasing me around at Halloween, saying you wanted to work with me. I'm like, oh, okay. What?
We were at
Anyway.
a jam session in 22, I think, and I didn't even dawn on me that, you know, we could have, you know, done something. I was just getting back into playing after the pandemic and all this
Yeah.
and that. And then we crossed paths because of Jerry or something. And I finally said, you know what? I wrote my number on an old business card from my other band.
Mhm.
I said, you should call me sometime.
And I was getting out of a project, and so I'm like, hey, let's go out and do something. And then we kind of found him, and it just worked and clicked. Rob, it clicked. The funny story is with me, my very first band that I fronted was all female band called Rock Candy. And that came because the girl that I went to church with knew the bass player that wanted a female vocalist. And she kept saying, "You can do it, Susan." And I'm like, "I don't think I can sing in a band." And then anyway, I did it, and the rest is history. And then I got the bug, and then I thought, okay, it's really hard to try to find the right people all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I sang in a couple of other bands, filled in for people, stayed, and I seemed to have been going about a year rotation. And then I was finally just thinking at the time, I'm like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. This is not working. I'll figure out something else. And then I met these guys, and we just started jamming around one day, and our harmonies and vocals go really well together. And we're kind of trying to go for a sound that not everybody does. So you won't hear Last Dance with Mary Jane from us.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
But we'll do things from.
I'm not mad about that.
Okay. Exactly. So, and you'll hear some Tina Turner, but it's not going to be the same stuff that everybody does, because I just have these wonderful musicians that can play everything. I play the tambourine, a shaky egg, and a cowbell, but that's it. I have nothing else but my voice. So, anyway.
But at the same time, though, like, at what point did you realize that you could sing?
This is kind of a hard question. So probably when I finally I auditioned for a musical, and I had to do a song, and everybody does songs from show tunes, and I think I did something from Grease because I had no idea how like theater auditions worked. And so I kind of and I got cast, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can't sing. I have a family member that's very musically inclined, and I just kind of thought, well, I was the girl that would sing with her albums in the bedroom with the hairbrush, that kind of thing. But they were all Elton John and CPR and Moody Blues, and the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever, that kind of stuff, and a little Madonna. But I was always the girl that could sing boy songs, so it was kind of nice to be able to sing girl songs and believe in myself a little bit. I had worked with a vocal director that actually has a band in town, Beth, and she kept telling me, "You are a closeted soprano." I'm like, "No, I'm a tenor. I'm a tenor alto." She's like, "No, you are a closeted soprano." And by golly, just singing with these boys and finding the high note, I think I probably was a closeted soprano.
And we're teasing her into it.
Yeah.
Kind of nudging her softly up that way.
Yeah. So
well, I can't sing that, so how about you?
Yeah. So I guess it was probably in like middle school, junior high school, but I just didn't really do much because I got into the acting bug, and then I ended up getting married and having kids, and I've been married 43 years, and my husband, comes to my stuff, and sometimes he doesn't, but that's okay because he's seen a lot. So anyway.
Yeah.
And then how about you? At what point did you realize, no, I'm pretty good at this instrument thing?
Okay, so like 8th grade, similar story. I had a friend, and he had a friend, and we kind of got together. And this guy had excuse me, he had this upstairs closet in his mom's house. It was almost like an attic, but his drum kit was in there. And so, I took my guitar over there and just started playing it, drums and guitar. And I go, hey, he can play it, and we're actually together. And so I'm like, okay, this works. And so they had some kind of gathering at my 8th grade thing. And so I had this big old speaker with an amplifier, and it was on wheels. And so we had to walk it all the way from our house, small town, to the thing. And my other guitar player was playing bass on the guitar. And we were plugging into the same channel on this amp, But then that's when I realized people recognized me after we performed, 3 songs at a lunchtime, whatever. So I was like, well, I guess we'll keep it going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about yourself?
What was the original question?
At what point did you realize that you were actually pretty good at music? Because I find like there's this instance in a musician's history or life where they realize
it is kind of
I'm good enough to get on stage.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious about what point in your life was like, I think I'm good enough to get on stage.
Well, I don't know about that, but I used to harmonize with my mom.
Cool.
When she took me to football practice in the 4th grade. It was clear over on the other side of Seattle. And by the time we got over there, we both thought, hey, this is kind of cool, and it just came natural.
Yeah.
Even today, I would rather harmonize. It's just my comfort zone.
Right, but we're taking him out of that comfort zone, aren't we? Yeah.
And one of the things that I love to talk to bands about is just how important it is to have that ability to get along with each other, and how important it is to have this sort of sense of family within the band.
Yeah.
Like, why do you feel it's so important as artists to have that sort of, not connectivity, but like you're all kind of on the same wavelength, if you will.
We really are. It's important because, by golly, we get a lot of stuff done. I've been in so many other projects where I'm just like, you still have to learn that song that I gave you 5 weeks ago? Okay. It doesn't make you feel very valued as a member. Where these guys, I can talk to him and say, hey, let's try this. And he's like, well, I'm not really feeling that. I'm like, okay. Or he'll say, let's do this. I mean, he found me a wonderful Tina Turner song that I never would have even thought of doing. And I'm just like hooked on it now. And so I'm so excited about that. But it just comes from experience. And we do have gratitude, and we can tell each other anything. If something is bugging us, we come right. It doesn't fester and sit there. We just say, hey, can you explain exactly what we're looking at? This poor guy thought we were going to gig like 19 nights a week, but we're not. So anyway, we're happy we're twice a month. So anyway.
And has that sort of been built up over time, that sort of twice a month? Is that sort of like the groove you all are liking right now?
We've only had 2 gigs.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were both in the same month, so.
Yeah.
So we're on schedule.
I was working full time, up until June of this year, and started playing with another band. And they started to get to the point where it's like Friday and Saturday night at different places. And then the following weekend, we were only on Saturday night, but it's a different place. And it's 2 weekends in a row. And it really kind of, shoot your whole weekend. And I got to the point where I had to pull away because it was just too much. And so the 2 times a month just seemed to be a sweet spot, even now that I'm retired. And then Rob's still working full time too. So, he's busy, and we all have other activities besides the band and have to keep the other things going. So we keep the practices going between times, and we try to do a couple gigs a month, and we're just looking for better gigs.
Yep.
I really appreciate that too, because like one of the things that I admire most about musicians is, for the most part, it's not about the money.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Not for us.
Yeah. Most bands, they're not making a ton of money. They're just in it because of the passion behind music. And I would argue that makes better music.
It does.
I would say you're right. Absolutely.
And so, like, when you all are performing on stage, do you all have like a set list, or do you just sort of like wing it depending on what the crowd is?
We start out with a set list, but we're all so flexible that if Rob sees something that somebody wants or somebody throws out a request, chances are we can do it. I have, should we tell them?
Yes, go ahead, and you got to promote this.
I don't know how, I do know how to start. We have a thing where we do every gig, we just do one time where I call it a gig that's a riff challenge. And sometimes it's a vocal riff challenge, and sometimes it's a guitar riff. But the whole idea is that, I'll come up with something these guys don't have any idea what it is, and I'll start it if it's a vocal riff. And I'm trying to impress to the audience how quickly these guys pick this thing up, right? And so that's fun. I'm thinking of different ones each time to do, just to keep things fresh, to keep things alive and have fun with it.
And we like to incorporate the audience with us too, because that's huge. When you can connect with the people that came to take time out of their schedule to come and see you play and perform, you want to give back to them because they give us the energy when we're up there. I feed off of that. I always have, kind of. So to me, it's just like, get out there.
That's well said.
Yeah. So.
And I love that about that too, because like one of the things that I talk ad nauseum on this podcast about is how important it is to support your local musicians.
Yep.
Like I went to a Hoser show recently. Phenomenal show. Amazing. I could not understand half of the words. I couldn't understand half of the songs because the volume, because you're in a stadium that big, you really can't listen to the entire thing without something being drowned out. Whereas if you go to local bands like yours, you're going to actually not have fun, but you have this like access to the band that you won't find other places.
Yeah.
And that's why we try to play some of the smaller venues.
Yeah.
We started this project with the idea in mind that we use backing tracks. So we sound like a full band because we have drums and we have bass on the track. So it allows Rob to do some congas at times. Rob's picking up the guitar more often now. So we have the tracks below us and we live on top of those. And that allows us to do a lot of material that a lot of bands just can't do. I play some keyboards and I can't play keyboards and guitar literally at the same time. I've had shows where I'll be playing some guitar and holding some keys, but when you can lay down the keyboards on the track, it's really you. And even if there's a little flubby dub, it's still there every time the same way, but we still have that full band sound, but we still have the live performance sitting on top of all that.
Right.
And when you record your tracks, are you recording yourselves playing as the backup tracks, or is that more like synthesized sounds?
No, that's the problem is you can buy these tracks and they're all synthesized. They use different drum kits. There's a drum kit on this song, and it's a different kit on this song. And this song, they have Hall effect reverb on the drums. And a lot of times the bass just doesn't sound right. And some of the keyboards even aren't that great. And so I redo all the drum tracks. I take a really simplistic approach. I don't know all these fills. It's not me. It's not us. We don't want the drums to stand out. It's us that are performing on stage live. So we have the drums that are more standard, plain Jane, simple stuff. And then same thing. I put down the bass parts, even though Rob plays bass on almost all the songs.
And I like that because, like, one of the things that music, one of the things I appreciate about what you're talking about is that allows room for not only the simplicity, but it allows your audience to have that part of their brain met so that they can focus on the more constant change and the other vibes of the song. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there a reason behind that decision? Did it just kind of come to you one day that you were going to try this?
I wanted it to be different. I mean, every band has a drummer.
Yeah.
And, they play the clubs. In the clubs, they want dance. They want dance music, dance. I wanted to have the option to do simpler stuff, to play smaller venues where we could connect more with the audience. And we don't have the room for a drummer. So we don't have to hire a drummer. We don't have the room for a drummer. That opens doors for us. It's a lot of other opportunities I see.
And I appreciate that too, because I've been to some venues where there's just not enough room
Right.
for a drummer.
Exactly.
And volume is the other thing, right?
There's some big kits out there. Yeah.
And actually, Rob is a drummer.
Okay.
There you go.
So drummer, accordion, guitar, and bass.
Upright bass also.
Upright bass.
Probably banjo and accordion still.
And of course, Rob could play piano too. Every once in a while, he'll sit down and go, "Hey, I was thinking about doing this song, and we'll probably do it in a future gig,
Yeah.
That's why I feel so like, okay, maybe I should buy a triangle too. Anyway.
Yeah.
The main thing is the harmony.
Yeah.
The first time they came down, they came over to my house one night, and we were downstairs, and it just blew me away what we sounded like, to be honest with you. It really did. And it's always been my favorite thing to harmony, like I said, since I was a kid. So
Yeah.
Even the first couple of jams that we went to, I don't think we actually said, "Hey, let's form a union or something."
Yeah.
We did a jam at the West Side, and we're outside going, we can do Free Fallin', we can do whatever. And we practiced the vocal parts before we went in, and then we did it live for the first time ever. We never practiced it together ever, and that was impressive to me.
Yeah, me too.
So I think we're hooked the same way
Yeah.
with the vocals.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to have people that harmonize. It's hard to be in a band that if you don't have the people that can do the background vocals and that kind of thing, it just sounds a little empty. So and people are expecting certain songs. They're expecting that
Yes.
background part. And when it's not there, you're like, oh, you feel let down.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands have one lead singer.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We have 3 lead singers. Rob's picking up 2 or 3 songs, and then of course harmonies. She's probably covering 2/3. I'm covering 2/3, and then Rob, is just adding in more songs each week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of harmonies because in a way, it's a miracle on stage. Like, just this whole concept of getting 4 people, 3 people up on a stage
Mhm.
in unison, playing the same song with the same harmonies. It's statistically impossible for that to actually exist. And somehow, as a human being, we have managed to not only do that, but able to reproduce it,
Hmm.
which is just unheard of. And it's just, I think, what's something that makes us human that I love so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
all kind of have
natural.
our niche. Like, I'll start a lead and then she'll figure out a higher part or whatever. Or if she figures out the melody line, I'll find something that works. And then Rob just drops in. No matter where I'm at, Rob finds the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
nice.
It
It's so
takes
natural.
pressure off of everybody.
Yeah. It's just so
Exactly.
natural.
It really does.
I don't think I've ever had a time where I said, you hit a wrong note. Like
No,
a lot
I
of times,
think to myself all the time, I'm like, oh, can we do that over?
a lot of times we'll sing the same part in unison,
Mhm.
and that's okay too.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just fuller, richer sound,
Yeah.
True.
And are you guys working on your own original music?
I think that's going to be our next opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob is starting to dabble with some stuff on the side. I've had some stuff from way back. I'd like to pull the cobwebs off of it. I think if I just lay some stuff in front of her, she's going to go, no, 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 do it like this. And it'll happen. And that's the way a lot of songs do happen,
Well, yeah, I was with an original band also at one point, and I had to rewrite a lot of the lyrics. I'm like, that doesn't quite fit together, and
Right.
they were happy with that. It was fine. It's actually I actually have a recorded CD out there. So anyway, I'm not saying no to it, but my first love is covers. It really is. So
Yeah.
just because it's easier, I think, for me.
And the reason I ask this is because for bands that are sort of starting that journey,
Yeah.
one of the things that I like to ask is what do you do when the muse visits you? Because I do believe that the muse is a living, breathing thing, and you never know when the muse is going to visit you.
I
Mhm.
think it hits us every time we get together.
So how do you
When we
capture
just
that?
start to do that vocal thing, it resonates in the room. It kind of lifts us up.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
We always leave just excited, and for this poor guy, we're sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh, what about this song? What about he's got like he's trying to do
I'm taking
shorthand
notes on this.
on this." I'm like, "Oh, we can put this song into this song into this song," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we have about a 90-minute set with just."
Thank God
anyway.
he's a speed writer.
Yeah, exactly. And more
Yeah,
than
I
900
send
minutes.
text messages to myself so these songs.
But I've never had that with a band, so I'm so excited that they listen to the ideas and they're like, "Well, maybe not this one, but let's look at this one." I'm like, "Thank you." So,
And all the time we've been together, we have band practice. We had one band meeting.
yeah.
And it was the best band meeting we've ever had. We said, well, what do you want to do? What are we doing right? What do we need to work on? We came out of there going, we have a clear direction. We got certain songs that we definitely all want to do. We walked away 2 weeks later, and since that time, we have 10 new songs that we're going to practice tomorrow.
Yep.
One of them is a redone for After the Fall. We changed the key on that. So I call it a new song, but we have 9 new songs in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And what was it like being on the stage together that first time?
Just so natural.
Yeah. I would say these
Oh,
guys are
it was-
awesome.
I was totally comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much
Nothing to worry about.
how much of a difference does that make for the music?
Everything.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
If your feet aren't planted, could get fun.
Yeah.
Uprooting.
Yeah, because you don't know if you're going to turn left or turn right, and
Yeah.
and you know that they've got your back.
Mhm. Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that. Our feet are planted.
See, and that's such a freeing experience as a musician.
Mhm.
Because I've seen it where that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And it usually leads to dire consequences, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, how many bands have you been in? Have you been in where there's one person who says, "We're going to do this. We're going to do it this way," and you go, "All right, right away, it rubs me the wrong way."
Mhm.
Right? There's
Yeah.
somebody that's just really strong-headed, and direction is good, and incentive is good, but it's not necessarily what the other 4 or 5 people in this band really want.
Right.
When you get to a point where the other 4 people have to confront one person,
Not good.
There's
Yeah.
no criticism in this band.
Right.
We have never criticized anything.
And we pointed out stuff to
You
each
know.
other, and we're like, "Oh yeah, I've already tried to fix that. I need to fix that." You know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll point stuff out, but it's very positive.
Yeah,
It's
constructive.
Positive
almost
people.
strength based in a way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it's a safe place. There's that
Mhm.
good energy going into it, and I just I love it. My husband goes, "You finally met your match with Guitar Mike." I call him Guitar Mike because I have a lot of mics in my orbit, and so and I'm like, yeah, I love it because it's like, like, hey, let's get a banner. Okay, we'll get a banner. My Sean helped with all of our flyers. He did all the artwork and designed our banner, and we got a banner now, so we're like official.
Yeah. Now we
So
have
exciting.
a social media sponsor.
And we have
What?
a hype girl. We have a hype girl. We love it.
Yes, we're
So,
very lucky.
Yep,
Oh yeah.
it's a good thing. So
And so when the events are sort of coming up, like what are some of the things you want to see from the audience?
Well, if they're falling asleep, we're not doing our job,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
Let's just start with that. And
I want to hear. I love that song. Oh my gosh, I forgot that. Wow, I remember that song because we're dipping back into just things that not everybody does, and that's kind of what our focus is. We don't want to be doing the same thing because that's bands. We're not a club band. We are more of a
people band.
people
really.
band, or private parties, events, wineries, small spaces where no drummer needed. Anyway,
But you
Well-
also have the deeper cuts,
yeah,
right?
we
So
try.
the
Yeah.
songs that you don't hear on the radio all the time
Yeah.
by really good artists. I
And that's
love-
by design. That's
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
you were
Yep.
starting to say something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, so you can tell if the audience is really with you or not, and a lot of times you say, we need to do a slow one. They need a slow one, or
Mhm.
they'll throw some requests out. If they're not paying attention, we'll talk to them. Talking is the first thing you do to engage, and we specifically put things in our set list like stop and talk to the audience,
Mhm.
introduce the band. If there's anybody that has a birthday, that's always a pull.
Mhm.
An anniversary or a birthday, we can do that.
Now, do you sing "Happy Birthday" on the stage if there's a birthday?
We have a special happy birthday thing.
If my son's around, Sean, he will sing "Happy Birthday" to you in his Donald Duck voice, but he may not be at every gig voice. So we better learn some, this ain't your birthday.
Yeah.
I'll put
Yeah.
I'll put him on the tracks.
There you go.
Team. So,
But to finish answering your question, though, I usually video the performances, and I just leave the camera going, which tends to be very boring. It's for nobody else but ourselves. And when you play it back, and at the end of a song, at the very end of the song, somebody goes, "Wow!" Then you go, "I never heard that live." But when you watch the video back and they go, "Wow!" At the end of the song, you go, "I guess we're doing all right."
mhm.
And that's the kind of stuff we want, And you can tell, if they're not paying attention at the end of the song and nobody claps, that'll end
Stop that song.
Yeah. But yeah, we pick songs that a lot of people don't do. Different. We have a very wide repertoire.
Yeah. Yep.
And how do you go about selecting the songs? Is it just like personal choice, or is it just like I think I would sound good here, so let's try this one?
There's a few songs that we picked that I thought would be really good for Rob, and they were.
Mhm.
And that's one thing. But usually these guys are just throwing them at me left and right. And when I see the same song that they're both asking for, I've never played that song before, but geez, they want to do it. So
Mhm.
we'll do it.
And how do you prepare for that? You just have to like practice,
Just
right?
any day of the week, any time of the day. I get up in the morning and I got something on my phone. It could be from Rob. Hey, I was listening to this on the way to work or
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah. It just, you're listening to the radio. I go, oh, that would be a great gig challenge. I've got a whole list that are coming up
You're sneaky.
from that. Yeah.
And the reason I ask that question is because I know I talk to a lot of people who don't understand how much work goes into preparing,
Right.
even if you're solely doing cover songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is so much work involved in making music to get to that point
Absolutely.
that you have to like I don't say have to, but like I wish more people would respect just how much, for the love of things, that musicians are doing.
Yep.
And we have filters too. Like Rob has thrown out a couple of things and come back and said, didn't really mean it, but that would be a great song to do. It's just, it came out, not that we would actually, execute to that. And then the other filters are, too many bands do that song. And a lot of times we won't do a song because too many bands do that song,
Yeah, you want people to go to your show and know that they're going to have a unique experience that they're not going to have somewhere else.
And
Right.
that's the other thing. We only play twice a month typically. So it gives us a lot of time between times. We haven't played in the same set twice ever. And we've
Right.
only done 2 gigs, but it's been totally different. And this next 2 gigs will be different as well.
And then, so for the gigs and preparation and stuff like that, is it really, when you're going to the venue, sorry, pardon me, what are some of the things you're looking at from the venue's perspective that makes it easier for you musicians when you get there?
Rob, you're going to answer that question talking about the sound of each location.
Sound. You got to have your speakers right. You have to have your own sound right to make everything. Everybody's got to hear the same thing.
Because I don't think a lot of venues understand how important that piece is if they want return customers to the venue.
Yeah.
A lot of the times what I'm starting to see at some of the venues is they rely so much on the musicians to manage the sound at their venue.
Right.
And I think that's kind of a disservice to the bands.
It typically means that you have to either have a sound person in your band or
Exactly.
on your payroll. And if you're playing a small venue, your what they pay you may not be, as allow you to keep a sound person on your payroll, so to speak.
And most club owners don't know that much about the acoustics of their own
Right.
place, right? You've got some nice sound panels here, and you can tell it makes a difference. A lot of people don't know that. Rob has been a sound man all of his life, and he and I will talk about stuff. And he'll go, I had this time where somebody was saying, you tell the story.
Oh, they were really having a hard time hearing what we were doing. So I asked them, I said, well, what's the problem? And without getting into that, all I did was take the speakers and turn them this much and turned the whole sound. So it was like playing in a Safeway.
Yeah.
Without all the groceries and, so you learn those things in time. We've been around music our whole life. That's how you find out about these things.
I've had similar experiences too, where somebody will come up and say, guys, you got to turn down. It's too loud. And you try to ask them what's too loud. They don't know. But if you're smart enough to stop and think, it could be one pitch on a guitar string there's that high pitch that just rings in their ears in a bad way, or any of the tonality of any of the instruments. Sometimes a snare drum is just too snappy or something. And so just moving the mic on the snare, or sometimes you put a kick drum mic and it's just booming. We went to a club, my wife and I ran into a friend that I played with years ago from another band. And we're saying, it's really loud. It's just, that bass drum really hits it. It really hits us. And he goes, that's what I look for. I mean, that's what he wants you to feel, that sound. But it was actually a little too much, So sound is really important.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day on stage, you're having it's a bad night.
Yeah.
And I think that some people don't realize that there could be a change. So, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I've experienced this. You come in the night before, you set everything up, you touch nothing. You come in the next day, and there's 3 things wrong that you can't figure out.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed
Mm-hmm.
other than it's just technology and something is different.
Yeah.
Could be less people.
Right.
That's always a big factor.
I say it's the gremlins, because it would never fail. Even like at church, we'd set everything up Saturday night, and then Sunday morning we're like, where did everything go?
Yeah.
And equipment is always a challenge. You never know if one slider changed a little bit, or one channel now is fritzing out. He knows how to fix the slide problems and stuff like that. Even equipment, you have to know if the thing comes unplugged from your speaker, it's like, wait a minute, something's missing, So you got to stay on top of the equipment all the time.
So what do you all do when you break a string on stage?
I usually. When's the last time you broke a bass string?
Oh, it's been a while, but I used to break them all the time.
Wow.
All the time. You learn how to play with 3 strings.
Yeah.
because I don't carry extra ones on me.
Yeah.
So, you have to deal with it. You're not going to do that to a Strat or anything with a whammy bar.
I learned a long time ago that if I only bring one guitar, I'm guaranteed that something will go wrong.
Exactly.
And so I always bring a second guitar, and I always have it in tune before I start the first set, because that's my fail safe. And if I break a string, I just switch guitars.
That's
And
very
I can
good.
switch guitars in the middle of a song. I've seen Rush. Well, they're coming back around again.
Mhm.
I saw Rush in concert, and he broke a string in the middle of the lead, and the band just kept going. He changed guitars. He started the lead again, and they just finished the song.
Wow.
So we're not quite that good.
No. No.
I have a story about Brandon Logan, if you don't mind.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I go to the Nicky Jones band practice just about every Wednesday,
Oh, cool for you.
and I geek out. I'm so
Wow,
so
I'm
lucky.
jealous.
I'm going with them to like the blues competition in January. Like we're staying together. I'm driving them everywhere. I'm going to be their unofficial roadie. It's going to be so
Nice.
Good,
Wow.
good.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
So one time we're at practice and we get there and Brandon's like, crap, I forgot my guitar. And we could drive back, but it's like an hour.
Oh my.
And we were at the saloon where we were at, and we asked Judd, it's like, do you have a guitar? He's like, I got that red one hanging on the wall.
Was that at Trail's End?
No, it was
Oh.
at Bear Creek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so he picks his guitar up off the wall. It's garbage,
Mhm.
right? It sounds like garbage. And he's like, hold on. He goes to the corner for like 5 minutes. He's messing around with it for like literally 5 minutes. Comes out, plays Hendrix.
Wow.
That's
Not
Nice.
missing a beat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not missing a beat.
That's cool.
And I'm like, how? Like, it's like, how long has it been since that guitar played? It's like years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
That's a
the
great
strings were so
story.
good.
Yeah. Wow.
It was awesome.
Huh.
It was like, yeah. Like, in the presence of greatness sometimes.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He is one of my favorite guitar players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and aptly so. And then Nikki. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Awesome.
That powerhouse sort of vocals.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Always. She's always right on. That's huge.
But in terms of you all, though, like,
I'm gonna kill a fly. Alexa? Alexa.
I will pay you extra.
I'll chase them in. You
I
get
know.
them.
I'm ready.
Because, like, what's the life cycle of a fly? Because I swear this is the same one that's been here for like 2 weeks.
Right. Mhm. Anyway. Don't steal our set list. Just
Right?
Really?
the fly on the wall.
Right.
I love it.
It's actually a compliment when somebody, like, I used to do a couple of songs that nobody ever did, and then I'd show up and see, I'm like, oh, you took that from me, but you go, girl, Anyway, it's kind of funny. You can't do that. You have to say they're everybody's songs, but
Yeah.
I would be a little partial at times.
Yeah, especially like if you have like one of those deep tracks and you're on it, and then you hear it somewhere else. It's like, oh man, come on. Especially if like your whole sort of genre, if you will, is those songs you're not hearing anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I gotta take that one off the list.
We got a
Yeah.
ton more of them, though. There's
Yeah.
always a ton more.
Well, I'm not kind of that person that blurts out. You say something, and I'll know a song that go. I'm that friend that blurts out the song lyrics, like Anyway,
Yeah.
These poor guys.
In fact, a lot of times we'll answer each other with the line of a song.
Mm,
Right.
yes.
I heard
That
it
is
through.
true.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I also love to hear about is like the importance of the jams
Yeah.
and how important that is as the backbone of like music. At what point did you start going to like the jam session? Because I've seen you at West Side Station a few times.
Yeah. I started probably, gosh, it's been 5 or 6 years ago. I started at the West Side Station, but here's the problem: female vocalists would show up, and the boys would only play their songs, and they wouldn't know any of our stuff, or they would call you up, or they're just like, well, it's the good old boys club playing,
Same old
15
stuff.
songs, and you're like, okay, what are we going to do? So anyway, a friend of mine, Danielle, and I put together the jam at South Liberty. We called it the MSG Jam, and we had it going for over a year, and then the venue wanted to go in a different direction, which is fine. But we made it a place where female vocalists could come and do their stuff, because we hired the right musicians that could play anything and incorporate, and we kind of made it a safe place. And we've, I mean, and that whole group met, you'd meet musicians and people would put bands together. Several vocalists went to other bands that were looking for members. And that's,
And that's how she started that band that she was in, right?
Yeah. So I've had, basically. So they're very important. And it's nice when you have the venues that have the nice sound systems to have a jam. We hired a sound man to make sure that we had good sound, but that was kind of incorporated with what the bar paid us, which is not, because it's a lot of work. People just think they show up all, the jam starts at 7. I'm there at 6 o'clock with the sign up sheet. And then we got the sound man. And then we have our band that comes in, tries to do 3 or 4 songs before we get the jammers up. And then I would run the sheet and get everybody up, and everybody played. So it was really nice. And we had a good thing going. So if there's anybody out there, any clubs that want to have another jam night.
That was a good jam. I liked it there.
Well, Danny and I, we're ready to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good job.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think we need another one too.
Yeah.
Like, I love the one at the West Side Station and what Ish is doing and the Raven Kings.
Yeah.
Well, we still, I think, need another one.
Yeah. Again, it's trying. Danny and I have hit a couple of places up, and they're just, they just don't seem to be interested, because either they're not a club that has bands regularly, so they don't know what it's about. And I get that, but we just need like a centrally located place where everybody could go and,
Well, and that's actually an opportunity for us to tell you about the Tiki Lounge that we're playing on Friday night.
Yeah.
I never heard about this jam. And it was Danny's birthday, and she says, well, we can't do it on Tuesday, but there's this Monday night, and it's tomorrow night. And so she says, let's just go on down and
take over that jam.
And we did. We took over the jam, and she and I sang, and Rob couldn't make it. And next thing you know, we had another cancellation, and we booked a gig there this Friday.
Yep.
So 2 weeks, it's all started from that jam.
Yep. So jams are important.
Yeah.
And I can't stress this enough for the young musicians out here listening. Go to a jam session.
Yep.
Like, you can learn so much from the musicians that have been there for a while, but also the new musicians as well. It's a learning environment all the way around.
Right.
And the cool part about the jams that I've experienced, I don't know if it's the same thing for you, but it's really when there's an inclusive environment where you're supported, but then they allow people to try things on stage.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment when you try something new.
Exactly.
Like, because I've gotten up on the West Side Jam a couple of times. I can never remember words. That's like the only reason I'm never going to be a singer. I can't do it. I just can't remember the words, even though I always remember the words. And
you just made me feel right at home.
Yeah. And so the last 2 times I went up on stage, I had to pull out my phone to remember the words, and there's no judgment there.
No, that's what a jam is about. Nobody is the only that the opening band has maybe practiced together, maybe, but the jam band, so to speak. But that's what it's about. It's a jam. It's to come up and see, well, I know this much, and I know this, and I can make it through on the drums, and you'll get hammered. It goes just a 2/4 beat or just a 3/5/7/9. I don't know any of this, but it just goes over my head. I still don't know what I can't tell you what a key of C or G or F is. I just sing with my ear. So anyway, but it's important, and it's important to include everyone, and it's important to be encouraging. And, we had great turnouts that
we
whole
didn't
time
have that
at that
kind
club.
of stuff when we were younger.
No.
It just didn't happen.
No, we didn't.
And whoever thought of this in the first place, I don't know.
Yeah.
And because one of the things that I love about jams in that supportive environment is just how many songs you don't even realize are out there.
Right.
And I have a firm belief that there is no such thing as bad music. It's just music that you might not like, that somebody else might like.
Right.
Music is just music.
Yeah.
And I can't begrudge anyone who just wants to try music.
Yes.
Jerry had a good jam going because he would have different theme every time, and it would be every 2 or 3 weeks.
That was a good idea.
But the problem for me was he'd pick like country. And it was 2 days before the jam that was announced. I'm like, I don't know if I know any country.
That's not enough time.
So then we would be texting back and forth. Hey, can we do this? Can
Like,
we
is
do
it
this?
country? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't really
But
do
it
country.
challenges us,
Yeah.
right? So as a band, we were starting to form back then, and it gave us a chance to get out and do stuff together. And it brought us to do new stuff that we never did before.
Yeah.
It really did.
Linda Ronstadt, right?
Yeah.
I never even thought about doing a Linda Ronstadt song, believe it or not. And then it's
Wow.
like, it's folk night. I'm like, oh,
And
okay.
you nailed it.
Thank you.
And it also makes you realize that that is a genre. There's folk is a genre, and it kind of bleeds into blues, which is a genre, and so on and so on. You know, so we ended up probably every time we did a jab, at least one of those 2 or 3 songs that we did ended up on our set list.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that cross genre sort of ability too, because like sometimes you see this a lot more in punk and heavy metal than other sort of genres.
Yeah.
Where if you're playing prog rock,
Yeah.
you have to practice with other prog rock artists, and so it's also that way with punk in a strange sense too.
Mhm.
And so whenever I see jam sessions that aren't just to that one tiny little sliver of music, it always makes me smile.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Yep.
so what's next for you all?
Well, we have this Friday night at the Tiki Lodge. So Tiki Lounge, Lancaster. That's what it's called. And it's a 9 to 11. So it's a little late night for us because it's a bar, but we're pretty excited to play there. And then when our next one is
October 26th is a Sunday at Elysium Botanicals, which is formerly Redgate
Yeah.
Winery. So that's going to be a fun Sunday, 1 to 4.
1 to 4, come on out in Independence. We're
I hear
excited.
it's a good venue too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'll be good for us because I played that room and it bounces. It's a bouncy room.
A lot of
All the
glass.
bands that play there, they go, God, it's a hard room to play. It's a hard room to play. It'll be easier for us. It won't be easy, but it'll still be easier
Because we don't have a
because
drum.
we can work the sound the way we need to and stuff. It'll be fun. And hopefully we'll get some people out there for that too.
Yeah. Yep.
After that, I mean, the sky's the limit for us as far as picking material and taking it where we want it to go. In 2026, I feel like we'll be doing more wineries. We're looking for private parties, car shows, that kind of thing. And I fully expect that we'll start getting into some originals because even though she really likes cover material,
They're going to make me do original.
I'll play a couple songs for her. And
Okay.
it sounds like the same kind of stuff that we grew up with.
Okay.
It'll gel with her and it'll just be her song. So I
I'm
think,
excited.
yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I'm so excited.
Mhm.
And then in terms of like the venues and the stage and stuff like that, one of the things that I'm curious about with the sound in particular, like what are some of the things that you can do as an artist to adjust if there is a sound issue? Like if it's really bad acoustics, do you like play down a different key or do you sort of like adjust like the volume?
It's all about tonality. And it's like Rob says, how you point, where it goes, it's coming right back at you.
Mhm.
You got to fix that.
Is it full glass? Do you have baffles?
Yeah.
People?
Got a
How many
low
people?
ceiling or a high ceiling.
Mhm.
No people is bad.
Yeah.
And venues out there, I'm going to throw this out there. If you don't have any baffles or any sound dampening stuff in your place, invest a couple $100.
There you go.
It's not that
There you
much.
go.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it'll do, not only will it do wonders for your bands that come to your place,
Mhm.
it will do wonders for your venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Can't
will.
stress that enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I struggle with is microphones as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't realize there's a huge difference between like podcast microphones and like live music microphones and like all of these different things. And so like,
Bass drum microphone.
oh yeah. So it's like, how did you go about selecting like the amps that you're using or the microphones that you're using when you're on stage?
Well, for me, it was so funny because I had no clue. Like, when I'm like, I need to buy a microphone and a cable, I'm like, so I asked the other people in the band, I'm like, well, what you get? The Shure 58. Okay, I got the Shure 58. I got a 57 just in case also. And I got a recording mic that's just sitting at home. But anyway, for me, it was kind of a whole new thing, and I'm still working with I tend to have a louder voice and a more robust sound most of the time, so I have to back off a little bit more on certain things, but I'm working that out. So, and these guys help me. So they're like, if you could just pull it back a skosh or do this, but I knew nothing. So I had to ask my other fellow musicians and go to the old guitar center and have them hook me up with I was so proud of my first mic stand and mic, I must say. So
That's cool.
That's cool.
anyway,
That's good.
I think a lot of guitar players have a certain sound that they want to get, depending on the material they're doing.
mhm.
Probably true with a lot of bass players. Certain
Mhm.
amp, a lot of bass players have more sound effects than guitar players.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I did not know that was the case.
I learned by listening.
I've always seen like guitar people bring in these huge banks of pedals,
Yeah,
and then the bass player usually has like one or two. That's the
Yeah.
experience I have. I didn't realize that there's the opportunity for like so much more.
Depends
Well-
on the music that you're playing.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I've seen guitar players that have all these stomp boxes and they use two.
Yeah.
You know, I watch.
I wasn't gonna say
I'm a
that.
guitar player, and I watch for this stuff.
I
And
have
I
more voice
listen.
than you.
I'm like, yeah, that's a really good gritty sound for that song, and good guitar player and stuff. But they used the right effect for the right thing. In certain songs, they've got this one pedal for this one song, and they didn't play that song that night or whatever.
But
So,
it's still on that
Mhm.
board. Yep.
It's
Just
in case
in
you ever
case.
have to pull that in your back pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
so
Well, we've been at this for about an hour,
okay.
and I think the best place for us to sort of wrap up this conversation is just how important it is for everybody in all stages of music to support each other.
Exactly.
And how much of a difference does it make for you as musicians to have the support of your fellow musicians?
It's priceless.
Yeah.
It is. They're gonna be honest with you as well. Most of them will be. And it's just and it's nice for us to go out and support our fellow bandmates. We like that. We love music.
Yep.
That's the thing that brought us together. And if I can be that encouraging light to maybe that one person that's having a rough night on the keyboard, say, hey, you know what? Nobody noticed. You're doing great. Keep at it, because that's what I would want somebody to say to me. So
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
us going out to the jams and us going out to our friends' gigs, it's important. It's musicians supporting musicians. So that's what it's about.
It could be a night where you just don't feel right about it.
Yeah.
And you got this gut wrenching feeling before you go out there.
hmm
I think a lot of us experience that. I know I do.
One of the things that I really love in a live performance is when they rope another musician who's in the audience
Yeah.
to play on stage.
Mhm.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
We have some tricks up our sleeve also, because
Oh, I love
we're very we are going to welcome guests to there are some bands that don't want that because they see it as a competition or competitive, and it shouldn't be that way. You know what? It's all love. That's how we feel, and we want to bring that to showcase. Maybe if you're not in a band, come on up with us. We'll get you up and have some fun with us, because you are enriching our experience just as much as we are hopefully enriching your experience. So
Well, think of how great it is if some of the bigger bands and Mick Jagger's in the audience and he wants to sit in. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
right,
We're not going to say no.
Right?
exactly.
And then the last thing that I will say, and this is more of the people listening who is actually going out and enjoying music,
Mhm.
tip the band, folks. Just tip the band. Like $1, $5. I know you're spending $150 on drinks. Just tip the band, please. Because, I don't think people realize the pay that bands make today is pretty much the same as it was in the 80s.
Totally.
And so
It really is.
the difference between tipping the band and not tipping the band could be the difference between your band being able to enjoy a drink after the show.
hmm And it's mind-boggling too. Venues that don't offer the band a meal, or don't even need to be a meal, but maybe a drink.
Drink, right?
But I was like, there was a certain establishment in town here. I was like, okay, so we get this much money and we get no food and no drinks. Guys, are you in? And they're like, I'm like, well,
And that is always a big perk. If you say,
Mhm.
hey, I've got this job, we're going to make this money, and you get one drink a set, or like sometimes the American Legion or the VFWs, they go, hey, we plan on having you guys have a meal with us. So
Right.
you go, I didn't eat the burger before I got there because I knew they have good food there.
Right.
That's a definite perk.
It
Mhm.
is. It really is.
And we do appreciate the tips. It is nice. And, the venues are still coming off of 2020 shutdowns and COVID things and the economy right now. People are, they have to watch where their dollar goes now. And so, if, like you say, if you can afford a buck here, two there, it does. We split it up and I'm like, I could buy an iPad or whatever. Not
Well,
really, but,
Yeah, and I always think of the wait staff as well.
Yes.
I've made a note that I go around and I say, "What's your name?" Okay, the barmaid, who's in the back cooking, and then I'll make sure I do shout out at least once or twice throughout the venue that, "Hey, how you doing back there?" Bobby or whatever, to make sure that people are taking care of them.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah,
Because most servers are not making enough money to live on.
I know. After the pandemic, they couldn't
Yeah.
find enough people to take those types of jobs.
Mhm.
Well, it's one of those things where the risk reward, the risk of dealing with overly intoxicated people versus the money you make. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people overdrink at these establishments, and then that's the servers that usually take the brunt of that, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Yeah, having kids in the service industry, I'm always a big tipper and son. I'm always very much so. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. That kind of thing. And it's a simple rule. Treat people like you
wanna
would like to be
treated.
treated. It's the golden rule for a reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Make it a
go
happy
away.
world.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate what you do, and we appreciate you inviting us in to talk to you. It's been
It's
great.
been awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll end the show like we always end the show, folks. Be kind.
Amen.
We all share the same air. We're living on the same planet, and this place would just be a better place if we treated each other with kindness and respect.
Spread the love.
Yep.
Yeah.